Hey everybody, it is time for my May 2024 Roundup. This was a month that is an absolute tale of two halves. I spent the first half with a lot of lit RPG, as well as an oldie and a debut novel that I absolutely loved. And then the second half was dedicated to SPFBO 10, Spiff Box, if you will. So let's go ahead and I'm going to talk about those 5 books. Yep, $5. Had to look at my no more than 5 because I have multiple books on a couple of them. So let's go ahead and talk about at least the 5 different series I started off with. So Primal Hunter is a lit RPG. It is one of the more famous lit RPGs, I would say. Basically, Earth gets integrated into the multiverse. We end up with a character who ends up kind of like having this dark hunter type class. Really enjoyed it. I thought the writing was actually pretty darn good on this one. I've had a couple of them where it has been a little bit less than stellar while still being a good lit RPG. I really liked the way that things were integrated into this one. I plan on reading more of these at some point, but I tried to do 10 first books and 10 different series after all 6 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl that are out so far. And so I will get back to this one. After that, I had the Battle Mage Farmer books, 3 of them anyways. First 2 I loved, the third one I didn't as much. It is what's called a cultivation fantasy, a cultivation RPG. They do things. In this case, he is a former battle mage who's trying to be a farmer. Really, really enjoyed the first 2 books, and then the third book started getting dark. Fourth book is really dark, and I just decided I wasn't even going to keep reading that one at that point. Then I also did the Superpowered series, the first 3 books anyways. This one I already did another review on and actually did an episode on that just came out about a week ago, when this one releases. About 5 kids. They were in a world that has superpowers, basically ours. But there are people called supers. They have superpowers and they can control them. People who are called powereds who have superpowers but can't control them. An experimental procedure was done. They're the first 5. They end up going to this college and do a hero certification program where they're trying to become actual official superheroes. Really, really good books. The book 2, I actually gave a 10 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed them. I'm going to do book 4 at some point here. I'm kind of going to move along and try to read at the same time if I can. Then I had an oldie, Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. This was one that I actually read and for some reason never did a review on back when I did my podcast. And what really inspired me to reread this one is, first off, realizing that I never did a review for some reason. And second was after the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobooks just became my absolute favorite, I thought that I probably ought to go back and, since I hadn't done a review anyways previously, and listen to what had once been my favorite audiobook of all time, which is the Age of Myth ones. There's actually 6 books in the series. The first 2 are my definite favorites because I liked the kind of absurd British humor style of it. They do get a whole lot more serious by book 3 and then 4 through 6. But this one is part of the larger Chronicles of Rirria series for Michael J. Sullivan, like 17 books, maybe even more. I'm probably going to look like an idiot. I'll put the actual number up there if I'm wrong. And this one is kind of like basically think of them as the prequels to the whole series of the Age of Myth. We learn, the real history that the later generations believed. At this point, elves were kind of considered gods because they lived for so long, and humans are, pretty short-lived, living in little tribes. And so, chiefs, for example, all the way, like their sons, will see the same elves for a long period of time. Really good book. I still thought the audiobook was amazing. Still loved it. 10 out of 10. I kind of had to guess, will I put this one on my book of the year list? Or since it was on my book of the year list years ago, I'll think about that. I have some time. Absolutely still recommend them. These audiobooks, a bunch of them are still free on Audible right now as I record this, and I'm sure as it carries on. Good books. Like I said, the first 2 are my absolute favorite, but I still liked 4 through 6. Then after that, I read a debut novel called Riven Earth by Zamar Amer. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I probably should ask him, but we're going to go with that. It is an epic fantasy, really definitely grimdark. Think of a world where humans were actually enslaved by basically like earth or by tree dryads, who, unbeknownst to them, were also kind of keeping them safe from one of the other gods who would try to like basically bake the earth. There was a rebellion. The humans managed to kill off most of them. And now, a decade or so later, they're starting to suffer some real ecological problems, sword and shield type of things. This one really reminded me the most, I think, would be R.J. Barker in his worlds, where he creates, all of his own creatures, just like this one did. I think that for me, I know I haven't even put out a review of this one. The book releases in the middle of June, so I'm going to try to put out a review right before that. But I think, is my favorite debut novel since Deborah Wolf and her Dragon's Legacy book. He does such a great job of building, of world building and building a vibrant world. I think that really the only thing that I had any trouble at all with is that when you create your own creatures and characters, everyone creates their own characters hopefully, but when you create your own creatures, there's no like cows or pigs or whatever, right? No horses. Then you have to make sure that people are able to visualize it. And he starts the whole series off with a big battle scene, and it was just a little bit chaotic and hectic, but that's really the only issue I had in the entire book. I really loved all of the point of view characters. I just felt like the world was so vibrant and alive. And once I got a real hang of those creatures, I just, I loved it. I honestly, I think that the best debut novel I've ever read was Deborah Wolf's, Dragon's Legacy book. But I'm going to put this one right up there with it, just in terms of, my sheer enjoyment and the sheer quality of very first book. Just loved it. I'll obviously, be having a review out of that before it comes out, so you guys can hear a little bit more about that if you will, but just a big fan. So once I got those books out of the way, then I started my SPFBO 10 reading books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to read at least 20% of all 30 books in the Before We Go blog batch. Now, I'm a judge. I'm only one of like 6 or 7. So what I can do is I can make cuts. If I read a book and I think it's just awful, I read a couple of them right off the bat. One was basically just pure smut. And so I can tell people, hey, I think this book should be cut. But I can also nominate semifinalists, but when you nominate a semifinalist, someone else then has to also read it and decide that they want it to be a semifinalist. And so that's, how we're going to collaborate together. So far, I've read 10 of them, and some other people have read other ones. And so we're putting together a list of books we're going to keep and ones we're going to cut. The contest doesn't officially start until June 1st. I do already have my first batch of 5. The video is recorded. I'm actually recording those in my tractor, and they're going to be about 2 to 3 minutes long each. Put them together in batches of 5. I'll make sure I put notes in each of my videos so you know which books are available. And I will just mention what the book is about, maybe a quick plot point, whether I will recommend it to be cut or I'll carry on, and who the audience is, that kind of stuff. So just quick little tidbits. I'm going to do 6 videos. I'm going to put them out starting the actual 3rd of June. So they'll be my Monday videos for 6 weeks. And we'll, see which ones we like, which ones we don't. I think that you have up to like 6 months for the first round of cuts. At least 3 or 4 of the judges in the Before We Go blog team, though, we've read a bunch of them already. I am on book 11 of my list. We're gonna try and get as many of the cuts done as possible, and then start to go through it. I'm not sure exactly when we'll have the official cuts, what our semifinalists and all that stuff will be. I'm not the one running it. I am doing a lot of the reads with a couple of other people, but the wonderful Crystal Matar is actually running things for us. She's doing a great job. She's, of course, a wonderful author in her own right, and her debut novel was also amazing, and the second one was even better, Legacy of the Brightwash. And the only reason I don't put it in quite the same category as like Deborah Wolf is that since it's more of an urban fantasy, you don't have to create like all the creatures in the world, in its own way. Still she did an amazing job. And those books were on my book of the year list last year, so loved them. But getting back on topic, that's what I plan on continuing to do. So that's where June is going to be going, is I will be reading and finishing up the last 20 of those SPFBO books. I will still be getting audiobooks in from other things, and I'll try to get some more videos of different stuff out. But we're going to do just a whole bunch of SPFBO for the next 6 weeks or so. Then after that, I will carry on and figure out where I'm going to go. I hope that you guys are still enjoying my channel. I know that this last month and a half or so of Lit RPG has definitely, it's been something I have really enjoyed. I'm going to start off by saying that. After Dungeon Crawler Carl, I decided that I wanted to see if I just love Dungeon Crawler Carl or if I love Lit RPG as a genre now. I think I've basically really just decided that I really do love Lit RPG. I am such a big world building nerd that, getting to see all these new worlds and like especially Portal Fantasy or Isekai, where either an Earth human gets put to another place, or the Earth becomes integrated into the multiverse, whatever, those kind of things. I really enjoy those. As long as the main character is forced to go into the dungeon or forced to become an adventurer or whatever, I've just really loved them. But I can tell you that it was not a popular channel decision. I apologize for that. I think that I had like 560 subscribers when the month started. I might be sitting at 564 or 565, 6 weeks after I started putting those videos out. I am going to stop that. I might put out, moving forward, like one Lit RPG book a month. But, it has been very, very clear that, my first channel faux pas was me putting out a month and a half worth of Lit RPG videos. And, man, sometimes you make bad choices. But you know what? I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed my reading. And, I have to be able to enjoy myself while I'm doing these. And, I'm so busy otherwise between work and kids' activities that I wasn't having time to record videos of other stuff that I wasn't already reading, right? I'll start doing that a little bit more. Also, June, both kids don't have any sports. It's the only month of the year where there are no sports being played in our household. So even though I'm going to be, my busiest month of work, I can come home. And even if I only have a couple of hours or an hour, then, maybe I'll have more time to put together videos. Because right now, an awful lot of the days of the month, I'm going to work at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm not home until almost 8 o'clock with kids stuff, and then I just go to bed, right? I am, way ahead on my reading versus what I've gotten recorded. So this next month, we're going to try to get SPFBO. I'll try to get some more of those other videos that people seem to actually enjoy. If it's not part of their genre, we'll quit doing so many Lit RPGs and get back to, more of what I was doing that made this channel what it started off as. So just enjoying my reading right now. I'm loving SPFBO. I'm going to still keep getting these other audiobooks in. We're going to carry on with a couple more of the Superpowers books. And a couple of Lit RPG, maybe just audiobooks that I probably won't do videos on. Those of you who didn't leave or who are still there and are just hoping that we're going to make it through and quit doing all these Lit RPG books, I promise we are. We did the experiment. It wasn't popular, but I'm going to keep on, doing those book 2s and 3s of the series that I've already read that I don't do videos on anyways. All right. I'll quit rambling. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun, and thanks for watching.